Yo, what's going on, everybody? How's it going? Today we're gonna be reacting to Microsoft actually won. Charlie's gonna tell us about it. I know what this is about. They were trying to buy Activision Blizzard. The government was like, "Hey, no, you can't do that." And now that it looks like we won. It looks like finally, maybe this will change something. We don't know if it will or not, but maybe there's some hope. Hold on, let me move that down. There we go. I lost you already. You already left the video.
One thing, it's that gamers are the pride and joy of the human race. I feel like the only reason the Lord ever even made humans to begin with was so that we would eventually evolve to a point where we can finally reach our ultimate metamorphosis and become the turbo gamers we were destined to be.
True.
And my friends, it's with a smile on my face and butterflies in my tummy that I proudly announce that we are entering the golden age of gaming. We have arrived.
What? This isn't the Nintendo 64 era. What do you mean?
Gamers can't stop winning. We eat good, fuck good, feel good, and when someone stands in our way, we say, "Listen, Buster, you noob, get out of town, or I'm gonna have to level up on your ass."
No one says that.
What just happened in court, basically.
No one does that.
The FTC got the latest smackdown from gamers.
I mean, good.
When they tried to block Microsoft's acquisition of Activision Blizzard. Those fools at the FTC, those bumbling, imbecile, homunculus morons, thought that they could walk all over our God-given right to game hard.
That's true.
And now they're learning a tough lesson. Don't tussle with the virtual muscle, or you're gonna end up looking silly.
Oh my god, dude, please.
The cyberspace is a circus, and now you're the clowns. Now, for those of you who have no fucking idea what I'm talking about, I'll briefly...
The analogies are fucking wild.
Explain. Microsoft made an offer to buy Activision Blizzard for $69 billion. An offer Activision Blizzard couldn't resist. Like Mr. Krabs with the dollar signs in their eyes, they were pretty on board with the idea, so they began moving forward with the conversations.
Would be nice.
$69 billion, that's a lot of doubloons. That's enough clams to make you...
Yeah, that would be like, just 1% of that would make you never have to work a day in your life again.
Slap your own mother. So they were going forward, going through with the process, but encountered quite a few obstacles along the way. The biggest one being the Federal Trade Commission blocking the acquisition.
Yep.
They were arguing that if Microsoft was to acquire all of the properties under Activision Blizzard, they would then have the means and motivation to harm competition and be very...
No, they don't. Sony owns so much shit. Like, look at Final Fantasy 16. No one else can play it but PlayStation 5 owners.
Anti-competitive because they could basically like take something like Call of Duty exclusive to Xbox. This was a big talking point, actually.
Yeah, but
Call of Duty in particular.
They already said that they weren't gonna do that. So, like, why not? If they're not gonna do that, why? Okay.
But Activision Blizzard has major heavy hitters in the video game space, and they were arguing that under Microsoft's control, they wouldn't really have incentive to release a quality product on rival consoles like Sony's PlayStation. So they were a bit concerned about, this being anti-competitive and maybe potentially even forming a monopoly down the line. So they motioned to block this acquisition. And this has been an ongoing battle for the last few months. And
as long as Nintendo and Sony exist, there won't be a monopoly in the gaming. Ubisoft still exists. Like, EA still exists. They all have their own publishing. Rockstar, like, that's stupid.
Microsoft's been making a lot of arguments about why it'd actually be the contrary. Should Microsoft get Activision Blizzard, they would actually enable more access to the properties.
It would be more competition, to be honest, because if they made Diablo and stuff like that, like Microsoft exclusive, you have to have a computer or an Xbox to play this. Then, like, that's more competition because Sony goes, well, you have to have a PlayStation 5 to play Final Fantasy and God of War.
Taking Call of Duty to a platform like even the Nintendo Switch. For all 6 people that
True.
would be delusional enough to buy a Call of Duty game on the Switch.
That's
'cause that'd be
crazy.
running at like 5 FPS. That fucking console can barely even handle mobile games. But there would be
That's true.
more access to it, according to Microsoft. And before the Switch gamers start fucking steaming out of their ears and
My
slapping
bad.
on the keyboard, I like the
I
Switch.
didn't mean to
It's
punch
just
the microphone.
a really embarrassing joke of hardware that can't really handle third-party modern games super well. Like Apex Legends on the Switch had to be the biggest joke the video game industry ever tried to pull.
Yeah, that's bad.
Nintendo Switch is good for just basically their first-party exclusives. So it is cool if Call of Duty does go to the Switch like this. Like, I mean, that's great. More access is always a good thing. But that would be
Some people only own a Switch.
like the worst way of playing this game, I imagine, unless they release like the Switch 2.0. But regardless, Microsoft was arguing that if they do get Activision Blizzard, this would only actually help give people more means of playing these games on consoles. They wouldn't take anything away from rival consoles, and they've been making these arguments for quite a while now, and it seems to have worked because today the judge ruled in favor of Microsoft. So they chose all of the correct dialogue options in order to get the Microsoft good true ending, I suppose. According to the judge in this case, they stated that this court's responsibility in this case is narrow. It is to decide if, notwithstanding these current circumstances, the merger should be halted, perhaps even terminated, pending the resolution of the FTC administrative action. For the reasons explained, the court finds the FTC has not shown a likelihood that it will prevail on its claims this particular vertical merger in the specific industry may substantially lessen competition. To the contrary, the record evidence points to more consumer access to Call of Duty and other Activision content. The motion for a preliminary injunction is therefore denied. Fucking caps lock denied there. That's like some shit out of League of Legends. Judge was getting a bit toxic there. Fucking locking that one down in caps. So the judge gave the thumbs down in the Coliseum here to the Federal Trade Commission's block on this Activision Blizzard play from Microsoft. They even just wiped their ass with an analysis from a Harvard economics professor who was arguing that they would have financial incentive.
Charlie with the I'm gonna blind you.
To make Call of Duty an Xbox exclusive, and they said that this failed to take into account plans for the franchise to remain on PC, come to Switch, and be accessible through cloud gaming. Before the merger, a consumer wanting to play a Call of Duty console game had to buy a PlayStation or an Xbox. After the merger, consumers can utilize the cloud to play on the device of choice, including, it is intended, on the Nintendo Switch. Perhaps bad for Sony, but good for Call of Duty gamers and future gamers. I think they're actually right on the money with this one here. Before all of this hoopla here, if you...
It's only bad for Sony.
Wanted Call of Duty on the consoles, either Xbox or PlayStation. So I do understand the rationale behind if the Xbox manufacturer gets a hold of Call of Duty, if they grab the scrotum of Call of Duty, why would they even bother to continue putting it on Sony's PlayStation?
Money.
That's their competition. Like, I get where the thought process is coming from. But they fail to take into account that Microsoft itself already allows its exclusives to go to rival platforms, the PC. Microsoft itself, there's no such thing as a real Xbox exclusive anymore because all of their Xbox exclusives go to PC at the same time, pretty much. So they kind of already
put that shit on Steam.
Okay letting their biggest titles go to other platforms.
It's called money, dude.
So I don't see why
they
think that it would be different here if they controlled the IP. Like, they would still benefit from it going to PlayStation, and they'd benefit from allowing even more access, like going to the Switch. And they've already allowed all of their exclusives right now to not be locked down to the Xbox because they already go to PC too. So I do think under Microsoft there is going to be more access to things like Call of Duty. This was a huge talking point in this case because Call of Duty is such a fucking power franchise.
True.
And I do think that they're correct that under Microsoft, I don't see it being exclusive to Xbox or anything. It'll probably just be more accessible. Sony, on the other hand, has shown many times in its past that it wants to have its cake and eat it too.
Oh yeah, Sony wants to just fuck everybody, and we're doing what Sony wants. Spider-Man.
It wants to be like your only option. I've already gone over this in previous videos,
That's
but
bad.
there have been times in the past where Sony has legitimately tried to...
That's bad for consumers.
...do anti-competitive practices because they have a very strong market share in the video gaming space. And they don't budge on fucking anything, mostly. And I think Sony recognized this, which is why they would be looking out for their own selfish interests to continue to have that stranglehold on the market share. They realized that under Microsoft, Activision Blizzard properties being more accessible, hurts their position because now you no longer just have the choice of Xbox and PlayStation. Now Nintendo Switch could enter the conversation, cloud gaming where you can play on other devices as well. So Sony, I think, really only cares about itself, not like the good of the gaming space.
Yeah.
So I overall do think it's a good thing here. I'm not exactly a Microsoft fan. I think pretty much every studio they touch turns to shit. And I really think the Xbox has nothing on it at all. It's just kind of a fucking brick. I have not got my Xbox out of this drawer in front of me in over a year and a half. And the only reason I brought it out a year and a half ago was to replay an old Xbox 360 game called Bayonetta. Love Bayonetta, by the way. So there's just, I think the Xbox Series X and all that is a fucking flop right now. Phil Spencer recognizes that. He even had that statement not long ago about how they've completely lost the video game industry race right now.
Why don't they just stop making consoles?
I'm still optimistic for the future.
And make like a PC
deal going through, should it go through,
exclusive system,
I do think having more access
where
to
you can change the hardware.
Thing. So I'm always for that. Though
the Xbox
I'm not
PC.
super optimistic about the quality of titles coming forward because, like I said, Microsoft has like the fucking cheese
gimmick that would sell.
They curse everything under their umbrella in the video game space, and every studio kind of goes tits up. Now, like I said, it's not a done deal. There still is another big block right now.
Oh,
this
is there?
This one comes from the Competition and Markets Authority. This is in the UK. So the CMA also blocked the deal in April, argued that it would hamper growth in cloud gaming. But it seems like this is starting to weaken a little bit. Like they're starting to be more open to proposals from Microsoft. So it feels like that's only a matter of time before that's no longer an obstacle for this acquisition.
Yeah.
But anyway, just wanted to give you this update because this is a very big deal in gaming. This is by far the biggest fucking deal like ever done in gaming. Probably just one of like the biggest purchases in general.
Probably.
$69 billion.
It's more money than Twitter.
It is fucking massive. And Activision Blizzard has some huge properties, so there is a lot of potential ramifications for the future of gaming. Could be good. I imagine it probably will be good, but it also could be bad. There's really no telling right now.
Who knows?
So I just wanted to give you a little update on everything that's been going on here, and yeah, that's about it. See ya.
All right, see ya. All right, if you like the video, like it. If you don't like it, dislike the video. Subscribe for more, and this video will be in the description, and have a great day. See you later.